first sowing of seeds from our new garden. Here I am in the greenhouse, which I finished glazing today. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to sow my first seeds. It's the 24th of March today, which is a little bit later than I normally would have started sowing. But I had to construct the greenhouses and we got a little bit delayed because of the snow. So I'm sowing about a week to 2 weeks later than I normally would have done. But the weather has been very, very cold, so any seeds that I had sown earlier on might not quite have germinated anyway. So I think this should be absolutely fine. What I'm going to sow today are 4 different varieties of tomatoes. Now, tomato seeds you need to sow inside, especially if you're in a cold climate, and you can start sowing them in January all the way through to April time. So me sowing them now is absolutely fine. I'll just show you how I'm going to sow one of these varieties, and then any variety of tomato that you have, you will sow in exactly the same way. The varieties that I've got here, I've got Gardening Delight, yes, Gardening Delight, not Gardener's Delight, Gardening Delight, Bartelli, Mountain Magic, and Apero. Now these were sent to me by D.T. Brown, so thank you very much indeed. They were lovely. They sent me a huge box full of seeds, which I was really impressed about. I'm very chuffed. So I'm gradually going to work my way through those this year and lots of other seeds that I've got. So let me show you how I'm going to sow my tomato seeds. Now here I've got my little seed tray. You can use a big seed tray if you want, or you can use a small one. If you don't have a small seed tray, you can always use a 3-inch pot. Just if you are, whatever you're sowing them, just sow them in exactly the same way that I'm going to do here. If you've got a tray like I've got, now this, my friend, dear old friend, Dick Smith, who is no longer with us, saved me these. This is what he used to get his dinners in, and they're lovely and sturdy. They're fabulous things. Just make sure that there are drainage holes in the bottom. So I'm going to sow one variety per area. So all I'm going to do is just put some multi-purpose compost excuse me, in one section. Just normal multi-purpose compost. If you want to pay for something more expensive, it's entirely up to you, but I just use normal multi-purpose compost. Give it a gentle tap down to level it. Now I've only filled this section about halfway because I need to put a little bit of compost on the top. If you are sowing them in a 3-inch pot, then just make sure that you 3/4 fill it with compost first. So just gently pat down the compost, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to give the compost a little bit of a water. That comes out very quick, that one does, so I will just tip away what I don't want. Wait for the water to soak all the way through, and the reason I water the compost first is so that the seeds are immediately in contact with some water, and then they start to germinate straight away. Also, I water them first, water the compost first before I put the seeds in, and then a little bit of compost on the top, because sometimes when you water afterwards, then the seeds will get shifted. Now I'm going to sow the seeds on top. There aren't many of these seeds in this packet. I'm actually going to sow the Mountain Magic first. There's only 10 in here, or approximately 10. Now these are tomato seeds. All tomato seeds look the same. I'm hoping that you can see them. Very, very tiny. And all I'm going to do is to pop them on top of the compost, making sure that there is space between each one. If a couple do fall too close to each other, then just move them apart. As there are only 10 in here, or approximately 10, I shouldn't have any problems with too many falling together. There is one stuck right in there. You're coming out whether you like it or not. There we are. Come on. Okay. So once you've put your seeds on the compost, then all you need to do is, you can either cover them with vermiculite, it's entirely up to you, but I just cover them with a little bit of multi-purpose compost. And when I say a little bit, it really is quite a small amount. There's about ½ centimetre of compost on top of the seeds. Just sprinkle it on very loosely. Don't pat it down because you don't want to compress the compost on top, otherwise the little seedlings will find it very difficult to grow through. So just sprinkle gently on top. So that's the first one. I am now going to do all the rest of them, and when I've finished them I will show you. So I've done all those 4 varieties of tomatoes, and here they are. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a little propagator lid, put them on one of these black trays that I have, and then just put a propagator lid over the top of them. The reason I'm going to do that is because the nights in March are still quite cold, and I just want to keep a little bit more heat in the soil for the tomatoes to start to germinate. Hopefully in about 7 to 10 days, fingers crossed, if the weather is nice and warm and they stay nice and warm, then they'll start to pop through the soil. If it's a bit cold, they will take a little bit longer. So be patient, and when they do start to pop through the soil, then I will show you. But I will also show you every step of the way when I prick them out, when I pop them on, and all those other little things as well. Well, that's all for today. I hope you've enjoyed what I've shown you, and I hope you're going to grow some lovely tomatoes, whatever varieties you want to this year. There are so many out there to choose from the tiny little cherry tomatoes to the normal middle-sized tomatoes to the really, really large beefsteak. They come in all sorts of different colours. You can get white ones, yellow ones, pink ones, purple ones, black ones, green ones, all sorts. And I will show you when you will know when they're ready, because sometimes, especially with the green ones, it's quite difficult to know when they're ready. Obviously all the other ones it's quite easy because they start off green, and then when they've turned to the colour that they're supposed to be, then you know they're ripe. But the green ones are a little bit tricky. But when we do come to do that and harvest them, then I will go through all of that with you. Well, I look forward to seeing you very soon.